Hello students, today I am here to teach you chapter 29 in your textbook that's called surface area and volume. So here in this lesson we are talking about cylinders. Have you seen cylinders before? When you keep coins together, stack of coins, it makes a cylinder. Where else we see cylinders in real life? Biscuit tins, cheese tins, salmon tins. When you get tins, you get mostly cylindrical shape. Now we'll see what's the shape is about. So here I'll draw the cylinder shape. You get something like this. So here you get two circles and curved surface. So here we say these two are circular plane surface. Then around this cylinder we call this one as curved surface. Then you know what's this middle point when you take a circle? That's the center. So when you connect the two centers, we call this line is as the axis of cylinder. And when you take a parallel line to the axis on the curved surface, so something like this is on the curved surface, parallel to the axis, we call that's the generator. So what are the terms we learned today? So we get two circular plane surface, those are two circles, and then you get curved surface and axis of cylinder and then the generator. Now here in this lesson we are only talking about right circular cylinders. So what is right circular cylinder means? Right circular cylinder. So that means when the two circular surfaces perpendicular to the axis, we are saying those are right circular cylinders. So in this lesson we are only talking about right circular cylinders. Now we'll see when you open the cylinder, what are the shapes you are getting. So here, think about a cylinder like this. So this is a cylinder. So here the two circular surfaces are not there. But when you are taking the generator, so this is a generator, a line on the curved surface parallel to the axis of cylinder. So when you cut it along this, what is the shape you are getting? What do you think? You are getting a rectangle. So we'll see when you cut the cylinder, what are the shapes you are getting. So here when you take the cylinder, you get here two circles. So here you get two circles like this, but make sure these two circles are the same area and same radius. So if this is R, this is also R. So here R, R. Now I told you when you cut this from the generator, you are getting a rectangle here. You are getting a rectangle there. Now, if the height of the cylinder is h, so here what is this one? So what is this height? So this one becomes the, so this side, when you open it, this side becomes the same thing here. So here you get h here. What happens to this side? So you are opening this one. So when you open this one, I'll take a different color. So this one. So when you open that, you get this side. So what's that side? What's the length of that side? So here, if the radius is r, what is this one? This is the circumference of the circle. So here, this becomes the circumference of the circle. So here, we did before, what's the circumference of a circle? We get 2 pi r. If the radius is r, that's 2 pi r. So this length becomes 2 pi r. So what's the height here? You get same as the height of the cylinder. This side becomes, when you open from the generator, you get 2 pi r. And here you get 2 circles. So what are the shapes you are getting when you cut a cylinder? You get 2 circles and a rectangle. So we call this one as the net of a cylinder. Net of a cylinder. Now we'll see how we can find out the surface area. So in this lesson, we have to talk about surface area. Now we know there are 2 circles. So what's the area of a circle? Can you remember? We did that before. So if the radius is r, area of a circle is pi r square. Here also pi r square. The area of this circle is pi r square. So I'll put this as A1, A2. What about the area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle is length times breadth. So area of this one, I'll put A3, 2 pi r into h. Because the length is 2 pi r now, the height is h, 2 pi r h. Now I'll write area of circular plane figures. That means 2 circles. So what's the area of 2 plane figures? You get pi r squared and another pi r squared. So it becomes 2 pi r squared. What about the curved surface area? Curved surface area. So what's the curved surface area? That's the area of the rectangle. So you get 2 pi r h. So what's the total surface area of a cylinder? So we can use this formula if you want to find out the total surface area of a cylinder. So you have to add these two. So you get 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. Now when you look at these two, we can see 2 pi r is common. So I can take it out. 2 pi r, I can take it out and write the remaining parts inside brackets. So when I take 2 pi r out, what's remaining here? We get r. What about this one? 2 pi r is there, so you get h. So here, this formula you can use for total surface area of a cylinder. So what's the formula you need to remember? I'll write down here. A equals 2 pi r and then r plus h. So here this formula you need to memorize when you want to find out the total surface area. So what is pi value here? So we normally take pi as 22 over 7 and r is the base radius and h is the height of the cylinder. So I'll write down r is the radius, h is the height of the cylinder. So you remember this formula, 2 pi r into r plus h. Now we'll try to apply this formula in applications. So we'll take this example. In this example, it says find the total surface area of a cylinder when the base radius is 7 and height is 20. So we'll try to first sketch the diagram. So you get a cylinder, right circular cylinder, and here the radius is given 7 centimeters and the height is given 20 centimeters. So here, what's the formula we are using? A equals 2 pi r plus h. Now we'll apply the values. 2 pi is 22 over 7, so you can substitute that. R is 7 centimeters. Then r again 7 plus height is 20. So what's the answer? So we'll first write down 2 times 22. Here can you see 7 is common to both the numerator and the denominator. You can cross it out. 7 plus 20 is 27. So here 2 times 22 is 44. 44 times 27. So which way is easy to multiply? We can do 27 times 44. 40 into 4. 4 times 7, 28. 2 remaining. 4 times 2, 8. 8 plus 2, 10. So you get the same answer, 108 here, because multiply by 4. Then add it, you get 8811. So what's the total surface area of this cylinder? 1188. What's the unit? All these values given in centimeters, so you have to take squared centimeters. Now we'll take another example. So in this example again, it's given there's a cylinder with the base radius 5 centimeters and the height is given 30 centimeters. So they are asking find the total surface area. So what's the formula again? Can you remember? You can first write down the formula. A equals 2 pi r plus h. So here we know pi is 22 over 7. So you plug that value, 22 over 7. And what's the radius? Radius is 5. 5 plus the height is 30. Now, we can't simplify. Now, there's no common with 7. We'll simplify bracket. So, 30 plus 5 is 35. 2 times 22 is 44. Times 5 times 35 over 7. Now, we can see, we can cross out this 7 with 35. 7 times 1, 7 times 5. Now, how can we multiply? So there's an easy way to multiply. Otherwise, you have to do 44 times 25. So here I'm writing 44 in terms of 11 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. There's no denominator. I can erase this. 11. 11 times 2, 22. 22 times 2, 44. Now can you see? It's easy. 2 times 5, 10. 2 times 5, 10. 10 times 10, 100. 11 into 100, you can easily multiply 11 times 100 is 11 with 2 zeros. So here, what's the unit here? You get square centimeters again. We'll take the third example here. This is a 1/2 of a solid cylinder. So this is not already filled. This is a metal one and half of a solid cylinder. So they are asking find the total surface area. So now what happens here? You are not getting two circles. This half circle and the other half circle, what you get? This half and this half, you are getting one full circle. So you need to find out the area of one full circle. What's the radius there? Diameter is 14. So the radius is 7 centimeters. Then what else you are getting? Now you are getting curved surface area, but earlier we did what's the full curved surface area? 2 pi RH. But this is half of it, so you have to divide by 2. So here curved surface area you are getting, and also you are getting here a rectangle. So you need to find out the area of the rectangle as well. So in that rectangle, height length is 50 and this side is 14. So now you are getting 3 areas, and if you want the total, you have to add it all together. Now we'll see separately how we can find out those values. So here, if you are taking full circle, what's the area of full circle? Area of circular plane. We know one full circle, that's pi r square. So substitute the values. Pi is 22 over 7. R is 7. 7 times 7. So what's the value? 7 get cancelled out. 7 times 22. 7 times 2, 14. 1 remaining. 7 times 2, 14 plus 1, 15. So here 154 square centimeters for the circle. Then the curved surface area. We know the full one is 2 pi RH. 2 pi RH. But this is a half of it. So you have to divide by 2. So when you are dividing by 2, 2 get cancelled out. You get pi RH. Substitute the values. Pi is 22 over 7. R is 7 again. And H is the height. So this is the height. 50 is the height of the cylinder. Now simplify this. We see 7, 7 get cancelled out. You can multiply 22 times 5 and then put a 0. 5 times 2, 10, 1 remaining. 5 times 2, 10 plus 1, 11, and there's another 0. So 1100 for the curved surface area. Now what about the area of the rectangle there? So here length into width or breadth. So I can write area of the rectangle is equal to 50 times 14. So multiply by 5 and put a 0. 5 times 4, 20. 2 remaining. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 2, 7. So here these are the 3 areas we found. So what's the total surface area? So total surface area, we need to add 154 plus 1100 plus 700. So when you are adding all three together, what you get? 54591. So the total surface area is 1954. What's the unit? Square centimeters. Now we'll look at the example 1 in your textbook. So in the first one, there's a cylinder given and the radius is 7 and the height is given as 15. So the first part, they're asking area of one plane face. So area of one plane face means area of one circle. So here first we'll find out area of one plane. So area of one plane face. So what's the area? Pi r squared. So pi r squared. So substitute the values. Pi is 22 over 7. R is 7. 7 times 7. Now we see 7. You can simplify easily. And then what you get? 7 times 2, 14. 1 remaining. 7 times 2, 14 plus 1, 15. So 154. What's the unit? Square centimeters. So that's the first part. Second part, area of the curved surface. So what's the formula for curved surface? 2 pi RH. So substitute the values. 2 times 22 over 7. R is 7 again and 15 is the height. Now how can we simplify? We can see 7 get cancelled out. And then how you simplify this one here? 2 times 22 is 44. 44 times 15. So we can multiply 44, 15 times 44, 40 and 4. 0, 4 times 5, 22 remaining. 4 times 1, 4. 4 plus 2, 6. So here you get 60 here. So add it together, you get 660. So this is 660 square centimeters. So what's the third part? Total surface area. So total surface area means you have to multiply this one by 2 first, because we found one plane figure. Here one plane face. So here if you want the total surface area, so what you have to do, take the curved surface area, that's 660 plus 2 times this, because we found one area is 154. So what's the answer? So first we'll multiply by 2. So 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 5, 10. 1 remaining. 2 times 1, 2 plus 1, 308. So when you add together, you get the total surface area. So you get 869. So what's the unit we are using? So this is all about in centimeters. So here centimeter squared or squared centimeters. Now we'll look at the example number 2 in your textbook. So again, this is a cylinder and it's given the height is 20 and we don't know the radius. But another information given, the circumference of the base is given 88. So here that means this one is given 88 centimeters. So here, how can we use that information? We know circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. So we can use that formula to find out the radius. So C equals 2 pi r and it's given 88 centimeters. 2 times pi is 22/7 times r. Now, first we'll find out r. So, to make r as the subject, you have to take all the other terms to the other side. So, we'll multiply 2 times 22 is 44. 44r/7. So, how we make r as the subject? We need to multiply by 7 and divide by 44. So, I'll write this side 44r/7 is 88. I can multiply this by 7. So, that means I have to do for both sides. 7 get cancelled out. 44r. Here 88 into 7. No need to simplify. Now, how you find r? You need to divide by 44. So, then you get r equals 44 times 2 is 88. 2 times 7 is 14. So, what's the unit here? This is all about all in centimeters. So, you can write 14 centimeters. Then the second part asks to find out the total exterior surface area. Exterior means outside. So, here this is a solid one. Solid one, but without a lid. Without a lid means you are not getting the upper circular plane. So, here what are the shapes you are getting? You are getting one circle and the rectangle area. So, we'll do the second part, find the total exterior surface area. So, we can use the formula. Total surface area is equal to the 2 pi RH. What is 2 pi RH? The curved surface area plus, now this time not 2 pi r squared, pi r squared, because there is no lid to this cylinder. So, here try to find out the value by substituting. 2 times pi is 22/7. What's the r value? R is now we found 14. H, what's the H value here? H is 20. Plus pi, pi is 22/7. R is given 14. We found 14 as r. So, 14 times 14. Now, try to simplify this. You can do 2 times 22 is 44 times 14 times 20 divide by 7. Here we can write down 22 times 14 times 14/7. Now, we see 7 get cancelled out with this 14, you get 2 here. 7 with this 14, you get 2 here. Now, multiply. 44 times 2 is 88. 88 multiplied by 20. So, first 88 multiplied by 2. 2 times 8 is 16, 1 remaining. 2 times 8, 16 plus 1, 17. And you need to put a 0. Plus, what about this one? Is there an easy way? You can do 22 times 2, 44 times 14. So, 14 times 44. So, what's the answer? Multiply by 40 and 4. 4 times 4, 16, 1 remaining. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. Then you are getting 56 here. 6, 6 plus 5, 11 and 1 remaining, you get 6. So, 616. So, when you add both these together, you are getting 6 here, 6 plus 1, 7, 7 Here 6 plus 7 is 13, 1 remaining, 2. 2376. This is about surface area, so you have to use the area unit, that's square centimeters. Now we'll take example number 3. So here it says the surface area of a solid metal cylinder is this, while the sum of its radius and height is 37. So what it means, so when there's a cylinder, the surface area of a solid metal cylinder, so total surface area is given 2442 square centimeters. And the sum of radius, if radius is r and the height is h, it's given r plus h is equal to 37. The total is given. So we don't know about r and h. So first part says find the radius of the cylinder. So here we'll see whether we can find. You can use the formula straight away. This is a solid one. So here what is A? 2 pi r plus h. So you can use that formula and find out what is r. So 2 times pi. Pi is 22 over 7 and r. We don't know r, and r plus h. Here r plus h is 37. So you can plug instead of r plus h as 37. So here total area is given 2442. Now we can easily find out r value. So how we can find out? So here first we'll write down 2 times 22 is 44r into 37 over 7. So I can get rid of these terms by multiplying both sides by 7. Then this 7 and this 7 get cancelled out. I need r. So how can I make r as the subject? R becomes 7 times 2442 divide by, because here you get 44 times 37r. So when you want to get rid of that, you have to divide by 44 times 37 here. Now we'll try to simplify this. We'll divide this by 2. I'll use another color. So divide by 2, you get 22. Divide by 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. So you can divide this by 11. 11 times 2, 11 times 1 is 11, 1 remaining, another one there, 1 remaining, another one, 111. Now we see 111 and 37, 3 times 37 is 111. Then again, can we simplify further? No. So here 7 times 3, you get 21, divide by 2. So 21 divided by 2 is 10.5. So here we can write radius is 10.5. What's the unit? This is in centimeters. Now the second part, they want find the area of the curved surface of the cylinder. Area of the curved surface. So curved surface is this part. So 2 pi r h. So second part they want, what's the value of 2 pi r h? But we know r is 10.5. From this you can find out the height. We can use this formula to find out the height. First we'll find out height. So r plus h is 37. So that means 10.5 plus h is 37. So what is h? 37 minus 10.5. So here 5, 5, 10, 1 remaining. So you get 6 and 3 minus 1, 2. 26.5 is the height of this cylinder. So after you get the height, you can plug it to this formula. 2 times 22 over 7 as pi, and r is, we found, 10.5. So here, for the calculation purposes, it's easy to use fractions instead of decimals. So I can use 21 over 2 without substituting 10.5 for r. I'll substitute 21 over 2. What about this one? So height, how can I write 26.5? So 26.5 is 26 and a half. So when you convert to a fraction, what you get? 2 times 6, 12, 1 remaining. 2 times 2, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. 52 plus 1. So this is 53 over 2. Now see whether you can simplify further. So I can see 7 and 21. 7 times 1, 7 times 3. And 2 with this 2 get cancelled out. And again this 2 and this 22 you get 11. So basically what you get? You get 11 times 3 is 33 times 53. So what's the answer? So we can do 53 multiplied by 33. So 30 and 3. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 3, 9, 15. Then you can add it. 9 plus 4, 14. 1 remaining. 6, 7. 1,749. So what's the unit here? This is about area, square centimeters. Now we'll see the exercise 29.1 in your textbook. So the first question, the radius of a cylinder is 7, height is 12. Find the area of the two circular faces. So we'll do step by step. So always try to sketch a diagram. So here in this cylinder, height is given 12 and radius is given 7. And then how you find out the area of two circles? 2 pi r squared. 1 is pi r squared and you multiply by 2. So the area of two circles is 2 pi r squared. Substitute the values. 2 times 22 over 7 as pi and r is 7. 7 times 7. Now simplify. 7 get cancelled out. You get 44 times 7. That means 7 times 4, 28. 2 remaining. 7 times 4, 28 plus 2, 30. So 308 square centimeters. So what's the second part? Second part, find the area of the curved surface area. So curved surface means you get 2 pi RH. So 2 pi RH. So what's the answer? Pi is 22 over 7. R is 7 given and H is 12. Now try to simplify. 7 get cancelled out. You get 22 times 2 is 44. 44 times 12. So multiply. 12 times 44. That means 40 and 4. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 1, 4. So 48, you are getting the same answer here. 8. 8 plus 4, 12. 1 remaining. So you get 528. So this is also about area, square centimeters. Then the third part, find the total surface area. So we found the area of two circles and the curved surface area. So how can we find out the total surface area? Total surface area is the total of these two. So 308 and 528 you are adding together. So you get 8 plus 8, 16. 1 remaining 3, and 5 plus 3, 8. So the total surface area is equal to 836 square centimeters. We'll take the question number 2. It says find the area of the metal sheet that is required to make 200 cylindrical tins of radius 3.5 and height 10 without lids. So here we'll sketch the diagram. So we need to make cylindrical shapes. Height is 10 and the radius is 3.5. So here 3.5 we can write as a fraction. It's easier than substituting the decimal. So 3.5 is 3.5, or I can write as 7/2. Now here we need to find out what's the area of this sheet, metal sheet. So to find out the area, now here we need to think about different shapes. Now we know to cut the curved surface area, we need a rectangle. So we can cut the rectangles. But when it comes to a circle, so we need to think about what's the maximum rectangular shape or square shape that we have to find. So here if the radius is 3.5, what's the diameter? Diameter is 7. So that means if we can take both these sides diameter 7, if we can take 7 times 7 square shape, we can cut one circle from that. So here we'll think about that way, otherwise it's difficult. Practically we can't cut circles without a square shape figure. So we'll think that way and find out what's the area we need to make 200 cylindrical tins. Now first we'll find out for one tin, what's the area we need to cut one circle, because we have one circle there, there's no lid here. So here what's the area of square? 7 times 7. So you get 7 times 7, 49 square centimeters. Then what about curved surface area? So curved surface area is 2 pi RH. So you can use that one to find out the area of the rectangle. 2 into pi is 22/7. R is, I told you it's easy to use the fraction 7/2. And what's the height? Height is 10. Now try to simplify. 7 get cancelled out, and this 2 get cancelled out with this 2, and then 22 times 10 is 220. So here what's the total area we need to make one cylinder? So total area for one cylinder is 49 plus 220. You get 9 here. 4 plus 2, 6. 269. So we need to make 200 cylindrical tins. So the total area, total metal sheet area we need is 269 multiplied by 200. So we'll see 2 zeros, 2 times 9, 18, 1 remaining, 2 times 6, 12, 12 plus 1, 13, 1 remaining, 2 times 2, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. So we need 53,800 square centimeters of sheet to make 200 cylindrical tins. Now we'll take the third question. In the third question it says the total surface area of a cylindrical vessel with a lid is 5412. So that means with the lid the total surface area is given 5412. If the area of the curved surface is, so the curved surface area is given 2640. Find the total surface area of the two circular faces. So here we know the total surface area is this much and the curved one is this. So when you subtract these two, you are getting the area of the two circular faces. So here first part we can do by just subtracting. So the area of two circular faces is equal to 5412 minus 2640. You get 2 here, 7 plus 11 minus 4, 7. This is 13, 7, and this is 4, 4 minus 2, 2. So 2772 square centimeters. So second part they want find the radius of the cylinder. So to find out the radius we can use the answer from the first part. So we know the two areas is equal to that. So what's the formula for two areas of the two circles? 2 pi r squared. So that is given 2772. So you need to find out what is r. So we'll try to find out. 2 times pi is 22 over 7 times r squared is equal to 2772. Then how can we make r squared as the subject? I can keep this answer, multiply this by 7 and divide by 22 times 2. What is 22 times 2? 44, or I can write separately 2 times 22. We can divide this by 11. 11 times 2, 11 times 2, 22, 5 remaining, 5, 55, 2 remaining, 11 times 2. So 252 there. Again I can divide this by 2. 2 times 1, 2 times 1 here, 2 times 2, 4, 12, 6. Again I can divide by 2. 2 times 6, 12, 2 times 3, 6. So 63 times 7. So what is 63 times 7? 7 times 3, 21, 2 remaining, 7 times 6, 42, 42 plus 2, 44. So 441 is r squared. So how we can find out the square root? Square root of r squared means square root of 441. So we'll see 20 times 20 is 400. So 21 times 21, we'll see what's the answer. $441. So what's the square root of 441? You get 21 centimeters. So that's the second part. Find the radius of the cylinder. So the third part, they ask find the height of the cylinder. So to find out the height, we can use the curved surface area. So here we know that curved surface area is 2 pi rh. So I'll do third part here. So I can use 2 pi rh is equal to, we know that it's 2640. You can substitute there. 2 times pi is 22 over 7, r is 21, H is, that's what you have to find, 2640. Then try to simplify. I can see 7 times 1, 7 times 3. So 3 times 2, 6. But I can make H as a subject and then finally you can simplify. So I can write 2640 and then divide by 2 times 22 times 3. So what's the answer? So try to simplify this. I get 2 times 1320 and again 2 times 11. I can write 2 times 612 and 2 times 612. And then I can see it's divisible by 11. 11 times 1, 11 times 6. So 60 divided by 3. So what's 60 divided by 3? 20 centimeters. So the height of this cylinder is 20 centimeters. Now we'll take the fourth question. It says the base of a cylindrical vessel with a lid which has been produced using a thin metal sheet has a circumference of 88 centimeter. If the area of the curved surface is this much, find the height of the vessel. So here this is with lid. So you have to consider two circles and the curved surface area. And it says you need, using a thin metal, has a circumference of 88. So that means this one is given 88. And the area of the curved surface, so this area is given 1078 square centimeters. So you are asked to find out the height. So we'll see how we can find out. Here 88 is given as the circumference. So what is 88? 88 is 2 pi r. So here we know 2 pi r is 88. So what is curved surface area? Curved surface area is 2 pi RH. Now, when you look at this one, what can you see? Instead of 2 pi r, we can substitute 88. So here, straight away we can write, what's the curved surface area? 2 pi RH is equal to 1078, and we know 2 pi r value is 88. So 88 H is equal to 1078. So what is H? You can straight away write down 1078 divided by 88. So you can simplify. We'll divide by 11. 11 times 8. 11 times 9, 99. And for 88, you get 11 times 8. So then, can you simplify further? This one, divide by 2, you get 4. Divide by 2, you get 49. So 49 over 4. So you can write as a decimal. So what is 49 over 4? 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 8. For 10, you get several decimal places. So you can keep the answer as 12 and 1/4. So what's the unit here? You can use centimeters. So we'll take the fifth question. It says the area of the curved surface of a cylindrical tin with a lid is 990. So what's given? Straight away we can write the given information is about 2 pi RH. So that's given 990. What's the other? That's all given. So you are asked to find if the height of the tin is 15. So H is given 15 and you are asked to find the base radius. So straight away you can use this formula. So you can use 990 is equal to 2 pi r, and instead of h I can plug 15 centimeters. And what's pi value? 2 times pi, you can write 22/7 r into 15 is equal to 990. Then how can we simplify? You can make r as the subject. So what is r? I can multiply this by 7 and divide this by 2 times 22 times 15. Now we'll try to simplify. So here I can divide this by 5. 5 times 3, 5 times 1, 5, 49, 5 times 9, 45, 4 remaining for 40, that's 8. Then how can I simplify? I can divide this by 11. 11 times 2, 11 times 1, 11, and for 88, this is 8. Then 2 times 9 is 18. And here 3 with 9, I can simplify 3 with 1 and 3 with 3. So that's all. Now what's remaining? 3 is there, 3 times 7 is there, 21. And then 3 times 21, and then you get here 2 here. So you can keep the answer as a fraction or as a decimal. So what is 21 divided by 2? You can write 10.5. This is in centimeters. So this is the r value. So here the second part is the first part. So the second part they asked, find the total area of the two circular faces. So that means pi r squared for one circle, and for two circles 2 pi r squared. So 2 pi r squared, now we know the radius, so you can plug the values. 2 times pi is 22/7. What's the r value? R value I can write in fractions, 21/2. So 21/2 into 21/2. Now try to simplify. I can see 2 get cancelled out. 7 with this you get 3. 2 and 21 we get 11. So that's all. So 11 times 3 is 33 times 21. So what is 21 times 33? I can multiply here 30 and 3. 3 times 1, 3. 3 times 2, 6. So you get same answer here, 396, 693. So here area of the two circles is equal to 693 square centimeters. And the third part, they want find the total surface area. Now we know the curved surface area given 990, and we found out the area of two circles. So we can add it together. So here you can add 693 with 990 together, total surface area. So 9 and 9, 18, 1 remaining, 10 plus 6, 16. So what's the total surface area? Total surface area is 1683 square centimeters. Now we'll look at sixth question. It says it is possible to paint an area of 13.5 square meters with 1 liter of certain type of paint. So here we'll write down that we need, for this one you need 1 liter. The roof over the veranda of a certain house rests on 10 cylindrical pillars. So you get cylindrical pillars. You get 10 like this. Each of height 3 meters. So this height is given 3 meters and the diameter is given. So this length is given 28 centimeters. Now here different units are given. So what you have to do? You have to convert to the same units. So here without writing 28 centimeters, how can we convert to meters? You divide this by 100. So 28 divided by 100, 0.28 meters. And also given it has been decided to paint all these pillars. Find the area of the curved surface of these 10 pillars to the nearest square meter. So here they are only asking the curved surface area. So here if you take curved surface area, what's the formula? 2 pi RH. So 2 pi RH you can use. So what's the value for pi? You can use 22/7. What's the value of R? 0.28 is for the diameter. So what is R here? You have to divide by 2. So when you divide by 2, you get 0.14. How can we write this as a fraction? It's easy to write 14 divided by 100. Or you can divide by, it's easy, without converting to again 7/50, we'll keep as 14/100. So I can write for R 14/100. So what's the H value? H value is given 3. Now we'll try to simplify this. 7 with 14, this is 2. And I can write 3 times 2, 6, 6 times 2, 12. 12 times 22 over 100. So here this is the curved surface area of one pillar. So there are 10 pillars like that. So what's the total surface area of 10 pillars? So that means you have to multiply this by 10. 12 times 22 over 100 into 10. So here 0 get cancelled out, and here we'll multiply 12 times 22. 20 into 2, 2 times 2, 4, 2 times 1, 2. So 24 again, you get 264, and then divide by 10, you get 26.4. This is in square meters, but the question asks, find the value correct to square meter, to the nearest square meter. So here, what's the value here? Roughly, you need 27. We need to round up because we need more, not less than that. So we can take 27 square meters. Then the next one, find the required amount of paint in liters. We know 13.5 square meters, you need 1 liter. Then what about for 27 square meters? So this is double of this. So you can say double of, so you multiply this by 2, you get 27. So that means you need 2 liters of paint. Third part, if 1 liter of paint is 450 rupees, find the amount that to be spent on the paint. So we know that we need 2 liters. 1 liter is 450. So you multiply 450 by 2. So what's the answer? So we get 900 rupees to buy the 2-liter paint. Now we'll take the 7th question. It says it is required to cover the total surface area of the curved surface of a right cylindrical shape food container of radius 7 and height 10 with a label. So here there's a container, cylindrical container, radius 7 and the height is given 10 centimeters, both in centimeters. And it says you need to paste a label, and it says how many labels can be cut out from a thin piece of paper of length 180 and breadth 90. So here the paper size is 180 centimeter length and 90 centimeter breadth, such that the waste is minimized. Find the area of the piece of paper that goes waste. So when you take the label, so you get a rectangle now. So here you get a rectangle like this. So here, what's the length here? 2 pi r. And what's the height? Height is same as this, so 10. So first we'll find out the length that we need for the paper. So here, what's 2 pi r? 2 times 22 over 7 times r. What is r? 7. So when you multiply this, you get 44 centimeters. Now here, we need to cut 44 length and 10 breadth rectangles from this paper. So here we can see how many papers we can cut. If we can draw, one side is 44 and the other one is 10. So here how many papers we can cut. So here when you take that, the total length is 180, 44 is one label size. So we can see how many labels this way we can cut. So labels, so number of labels along length. So how many labels? Total is 180 and one label size is 44. So roughly how much? So this is like divide by 2, 90. So divide by 2 again, 11 and 45. So roughly 4 point something means we can cut roughly, so I can put approximate sign, 4 labels along the length. How many labels we can cut along breadth side? So we know one label size is 10 centimeter, total height, length, breadth of the paper is 90 centimeters. So here number of labels along breadth, we see 90 divided by 10. That means 9 labels we can. So here that means along this side we have 4 and along this side 9. So total, so how many altogether? Total number of labels. So that is equal to 9 times 4. So we can cut 36 labels from this paper. And then it says find the area of the piece of paper that goes waste. Now if we are cutting 36 labels, so what's the area? So we need to find out the area. So area is equal to 36 labels we are cutting, and what's the area? So 44 times 10. So what's the value? We'll multiply by 44. 36, 44. So when you multiply this by 44, 40 and 4, 0. 4 times 6, 24. 2 remaining. 4 times 3, 12. 12 plus 2, 14. 4 times 6, 24. 2 remaining. 4 times 3, 12. 12 plus 2, 14. 8, 5, 1. So answer is 15840. So that's 15,840. What's the unit? It's square centimeters. So what's the total area of this paper? You can multiply. So the total area of the paper, (90 times) what's the full length? It says 180. 90 times 180. So what's the answer there? 0, 0. 9 times 8, 72. 7 remaining. 9 times 1, 9. 9 plus 7, 16. 16,200. So what's the waste? That means we need to subtract. So here we'll take the waste is total size is 16,200 and the total area for the label is 15,840. So you need to subtract these two. So 10 minus 4 is 6, 11 minus 8, 3, this is 50, so 360. So the answer is 360 square centimeters for the waste. Now we'll look at the second part. It says calculate how many such pieces of paper are required to cut out labels for 1,200 containers of the above type. Now we know from one paper we can cut 36 labels. So we'll see how many papers we need by dividing 1,200 by 36. So here we can write the last part. Number of papers we need is, we need 1,200 containers to make, and from one paper you can cut 36 labels. So when you divide this by this, 4 times 9, 4 times 3, so 300 divided by 9. You can divide by 9 and 3 again, 3 and 100. 100 divided by 3 is 33.33. So 1/3, 33, 1/3. So how many labels you can cut? To cut 36 labels you need how many papers? We can't say 33 1/3. So full number of papers roughly 34. So here we can write we need 34 papers to cut 1,200 labels. Now we'll look at 8th question. In the figure illustrates 1/2 of a solid cylinder. Calculate the total surface area using the given information. So we did a similar question before. So this is a solid one. So what are the surfaces you are getting? You get upper surface is a rectangle and you get the curved surface area. But earlier, if it's a full one, it's 2 pi RH, but this is half of it. And then you get this semicircle and this half circle when you take it together, you get one circle. So first we'll find out area of the circle that you are getting. So here, according to this diagram, the diameter is 14. So what's the radius? Radius is 7. So what's the area? Pi r squared. Not 2 pi r squared, because half of a circle and another half of a circle makes one full circle. 22 over 7, r is 7, that means 7 times 7. So 1 7 get cancelled out and you get 154. So that's for the circle. Now upper surface you get a rectangle. Area of the rectangle. So what's the area of the rectangle? 15 times 14. So what's the value? So multiply and see. 15 times 14, 10 times 4, 4 times 5, 20, 2 remaining, 4 times 1, 4, 4 plus 2, 6. So you get 210 square centimeters. Now we need to find out the curved surface area. So what's the curved surface area? Half of curved surface area is equal to half into 2 pi RH. So what's the value? Half times here 2 and 2 get cancelled out, you get pi RH. So what is pi? 22 over 7. R value is 7. And what's H? H is 15. So 7 7 get cancelled out. 22 times 15. So what is 22 times 15? 15 times 22, 20 times 2, 300. So here 30. You get 330 as the area of the curved surface. So what's the full area, the total surface area? So you have to add everything together. So total surface area is equal to 154, 210, 330. So when you add it together, 694. So the answer is 694 square centimeters. Now we'll look at what are prisms. So here earlier we did a cylinder. Now what are prisms? So prism is a solid figure with identical ends. So here if you take this end, what's the shape you are getting? This is a pentagon. So when you keep pentagons together, you get a prism. In this shape, what is this one? You get six-sided polygon, hexagon shape. When you keep hexagons like that together, stack of hexagons, you get this prism. What about this one? This is an octagon. When you keep several octagons together, you get this type of prism. Here, when you take a triangle and stack of triangles, you get this prism. So prism is a solid figure with the same identical ends. So throughout you are getting the same shape. So here this is a hexagon. So you can get any shape, any polygon as a cross section. So we call this part as the cross section. So this is a pentagon as the cross section. What is the cross section here? It's a hexagon. What about this one? You get octagon. And here cross section is a triangle. Now think about the cylinder. Is it a prism? Yes, cylinder is also a prism. What's the cross section there? When you put circles together, you are getting a cylinder. So cylinder is also another type of prism. So in this lesson, we are talking about triangular prisms as well as we are talking about right prisms. So what are right prisms? These two surfaces are perpendicular to the axis. So here throughout this lesson, we are talking about triangular right prisms. Now we'll take an example. So this is a cross section with a triangle. So in your textbook, example 1 is a triangular prism given, and you are asked to find out the total surface area. Now you have to think about carefully when you look at a prism, triangular based prism, what are the surfaces you are getting? So here can you see you get two triangles together. So one here and the other one at the end. So you get two triangles. And when you open this, what are the other shapes you are getting? You are getting three rectangles. So basically, if you want to draw the net of this prism, you are getting three rectangles with different sizes. We don't know the sizes. Three rectangles and two triangles, but the two triangles are the same. So depend on the sides, you are getting different rectangles. Now in this case, you have given isosceles triangle. Here can you see 10 centimeters? 10 centimeter means you are getting an isosceles triangle. So here we'll see what are the shapes here. You get a triangle like this, and then when you take this surface, so what's the length and breadth? You get 30 and 10 as one rectangle. What about the other side? Other side, 10 is one side and 30. Again 10 and 30. What about the third one? Third one is a base rectangle you are getting. So base rectangle is this one. So 30 and 16. So you are getting 30 and 16 as the third rectangle. So if you want to find out the total surface area, what you have to do, you have to find out the areas of the rectangle and the areas of the triangle and add it all together. So we'll do that. So we'll first find area of triangles. So one triangle is like this. How can we find out the area? We know area of a triangle is base times height into half, or base times height divided by 2. So here how can we find out the height of the triangle? So we can use Pythagoras theorem for that. So here if you draw the half of this full triangle, we know 10 is the hypotenuse, and here this is equally divided into two triangles. So if the length is 16, what's one side? This is 8. So you need to find out this height. So you can use Pythagoras theorem. So how can you find x here? So 10 squared is equal to x squared plus 8 squared. So when you take 8 squared to the other side, you get x squared is equal to 10 squared minus 8 squared, 100 minus 64, you get 36. So square root of 36 is, you get 6 centimeter as the height. Now you know the height, you know the base is 16. So what's the area of the triangle? Half times base times height. Height is 6. And also you have two triangles, you need to multiply this by 2. So 2 get cancelled out. 16 times 6. 36, 3 remaining, 6 times 1, 6, 6 plus 3, 9. So you get 96 square centimeters for two triangles. Now we'll see area of rectangles. So here area of rectangles all together, we'll add it together. So what's the area of this? 30 times 10. What's the area of the other one? Again 30 times 10. What's the area of the third one? 30 times 16. So here we can see 30 is common, take it out, and you can add 10 plus 10, 20, 20 plus 16, 36. So 30 times 36 is equal to 1080. So that's the areas for all rectangles. So what's the total surface area? You can add it together. 1080 plus 96. So what's the answer? 1176. That means 1176 square centimeters. Now we'll look at exercise 29.2 in your textbook. It says find the total surface area of each of the following prisms. So we know for any triangular prism you get 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So straight away we can find out the surface area by adding all together. So we'll see in this one you have given a triangle like this, and here can you see right angle triangle given. So straight away you can use base is 4 and 3 is the height because this is a right angle triangle. So we'll find out this total surface area. So I'll put A for total surface area. So 2 triangles, 2 times. What's the area of this? Half, base is 4, height is 3. That's the total area for triangles. Plus, what's the area of the rectangle? What about this one? 15 times 3. What about the other one? Base 1, 15 times 5. What's the third one? Other side that we can't see. So 15 times 4. So when you add all together, you get the total surface area. Now we'll try to simplify. 2 get cancelled out. So you get 4 times 3, 12. 15 times 3, 45. 15 times 5, 75. 15 times 4, 60. And when you add all together, what you get? 2, 1 is remaining. 2, 2 plus 4, 6. 6 plus 6, 12. 12 plus 7, 19. So here you get 192 square centimeters for the total surface area of this prism. Now we'll look at the second question. So this is an isosceles triangle, but base is 12 and the height is given 8. So straight away you can find out the area from these two. So we'll try to find out the total surface area. Half times base is 12, height is 8, and then you get two triangles. So I multiply this by 2 plus. What's the area of this rectangle? 20 times this one. But we don't know the length of this side. Now we need to use Pythagoras theorem for that. So we'll do it here separately. We know when you take the isosceles triangle, 8 is given as the height, base is 12, but this is equally divided. You can write 6 and 6. So we need to find out this length. So if this is x, use Pythagoras theorem. X squared is equal to 8 squared plus 6 squared. 8 squared is 64 plus 36. You get 100. So what is x? Square root of 100 is 10. So that means this side is 10. Now we can find out the areas of the rectangles. So here, what's this area? 20 times 10. What about the other one? Base rectangle, 12 times 20. And what about the other side? Other side also you get the same rectangle as the front one. So here you get 8 times 20. 20 times 10, not 8, because here 10 is this length. So 20 times 10 times 20. Okay, so now add all together. 2 and 2 get cancelled out. 12 times 8. So what is 12 times 8? 196. And 20 times 10, 200. 12 times again another 200 coming. And here you get, what is 20 times 2? 240. When you add all together, what you get? So 6, 9 plus 4, 13, 1 remaining, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 736 square centimeter. Now we'll look at the third one. In the third one, that's a right angle triangle. So straight away you can find out the area. But we need to know this length. How can we find out that length? Again, using Pythagoras theorem. So if this is x, you can use Pythagoras theorem straight away. X squared is equal to 12 squared plus 5 squared. 12 squared is 144. 5 squared is 25. When you add it together, you get 169. Square root of 169 is 13 centimeters. Now we found out that length is 13 centimeter. So what's the total surface area? We can find out using the formula for triangle and rectangle. So we can do half times base is 5, height is 12. We get two triangles, so you multiply by 2 plus, what's the area of this rectangle now? 28 times 13. You get this one. What about the other side rectangle? You get 12 times 28. What's the base rectangle you are getting? 5 times 28. So when you add all together, you get the total area. So 2 get cancelled out, and you can write 12 times 5 is 60. And here, can you see 28 is common? Take it out. And then what's remaining here? 13, 12 and 5. So when you add it together, you get 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, 1 remaining, 1, 2, 3. So 30 times 28. First we'll multiply this by 3 and put a 0. 3 times 8, 24, 2 remaining, 3 times 2, 6, 6 plus 2, 8. So what's the answer? You get 900 square centimeters for this area. Now we'll look at the second question. Find the total surface area of the right prism with a triangular cross section that can be made with the following net with the given measurement. So here when you combine all these shapes, you get a prism. That's a triangular base prism. So here you're asked to find out the total surface area. Again, you have to find out the area of all rectangles and the area of the two triangles. So when you take the two triangles, what are the lengths given? This side is 10, this is also 10 given, and here this is 12. That means this side is 12. So using that, we can find out what's the height. So we'll divide into two parts and try to use Pythagoras theorem. So here we can divide into equal parts 6 and 6. So according to Pythagoras theorem, how can we find out h, the perpendicular height? We see h should be 10 squared minus 6 squared because 10 is the hypotenuse. So 10 squared is 100, 6 squared is 36, 100 minus 36 is 64, and this is h squared. When you take square root of 64, you get 8 centimeters. So now we found out the height of this is 8 centimeters. And here all these lengths are equal, means all these lengths are given as 10 centimeters. Now how can we find out the areas? So we'll find out the total surface area. So you get two triangles. So one triangle is half times base is 12, height we found as 8, and we multiply by 2 because there are two triangles. And then we'll find out the area of this rectangle, 10 times 20. Again, this one also 10. This one is 10 times 20. So this and this both are equal. So you can write 10 times 20 times 2. And the middle rectangle, what's the area? Area is 12 times 20. Now we can add all together. So here 2 and 2 get cancelled out. 12 times 8, 96. And here you get 10 times 20 times 2 is 40. 40 times 10, 400. And what about this one? 2 times 12 is 24. 24 times 10, 240. When you add it together, you get 736. So what's the total surface area? 736 square centimeters. Now we'll look at the third one, and they're asking to find out the surface area of the prism in the figure. So again, look at the units given. One is in meter, one is in centimeter. So here, first thing you have to do, convert to the same unit. So 1 meter, when you convert to centimeters, that's 100 centimeters. So first thing, convert to centimeters. And then think about how you find out the other lengths. This is given 10, so this is 10. So that means this is also 10. So this is 1 meter, means 100 centimeters. So this is also 100 centimeters. So what about this side? We have to find out that side. So we'll put x here. This is a right angle triangle. You can use Pythagoras theorem. So here x squared is what? That's the hypotenuse. That's equal to 10 squared plus 10 squared. 10 squared is 100. 10 squared is 100. 100 plus 100 is 200. So here you get x squared is 200. So what is x? Square root of 200. Now we need to find out what is square root of 200. So can you remember we did this before? How to find out the square root of a number? We can first pair up the numbers starting from right hand side, and then, so this one, first pair up the numbers and we'll use division method. So here to get 2, that's 1 times 1, 1 times 1 is 1, 1 remaining, and then you take other pair. So here first thing we need to multiply this by 2. So 1 times 2, you get 2. So you need to find out the digit here to get this number. So 20 something with 100. So 22 times 2, you get roughly 44. So if you multiply by 5, what happens? This is more than 100. So the number is 4. Suitable number is 4. So when you put 4 here, 24 times 4, 4 times 4, 16, 1 remaining, 96. So here, then again, subtract, you get 4. So we need decimal places. So here what we do, you take another pair of zeros. So here for 400, what's the next step? You multiply this by 2 again. 14 multiplied by 2, 28. And we need to find out this digit to get 400. So here if you multiply by 2, this is more than 400. So this should be 1. So this is roughly 14.1. So here we can use 14, approximately 14.1 as this distance. Now we'll find out the total surface area. So what's the total surface area? So first, area of the triangle. Half, base is what? What's the base there? This is the base and this is the height. So base is 10, height is 10, and we have to multiply by 2 because there are 2 triangles. And then add the areas of the rectangles. So this is 100, 100 times x. So 100 times 14.1. What about the other side? Other side you get 100 times 10. What about the base rectangle you are getting? 100 times 14.1, we did that. What about this side? You get 10 and 100. So 100 times 10. So what's the total surface area? We'll simplify to get cancelled out. 10 times 10, 100. 100 times 14.1, you get 100. So here 2 zeros, 1410. 1410. What about this one? 100 times 10 is 1000 and 1000 again, that's 2000. So when you add all together, what's the value? 3510. So this is square centimeters. We'll look at the fourth question. Here in this one, that's also a triangular base prism. If the total surface area of the solid wooden prism in the figure is 2100 and find the length of the prism. So you are asked to find out this length. So we'll write the formula. Now the total surface area is given 2100. So what's that? That's equal to 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So here in this one, this is given 25 and this is 15. You need to find out this length. So first thing, you need to use Pythagoras theorem and find out this length. We'll put x here. So use Pythagoras theorem. X squared is equal to 25 squared minus 15 squared. Now, can you remember what is 25 into 25? 625. What is 15 times 15? 225. So, when you subtract these two, what you get? 400. So, what's the square root of 400? So, square root of 400 is 20. So, we found out this length is 20 centimeters. Now, we can use the formula. So, what's the area of the triangle? Half times base is 15, height is 20 and we have 2 triangles. Plus, what's the area of the base rectangle? 20 times L. What's the area of the other side? You get 15 times L. What's the third one? So, third one, we have to take this one, 25 with L. So, now try to simplify. Here 2 get cancelled out. You get 2100 is equal to 15 times 20 means 15 times 2, 30, 30 and another 0. Now, can you see all these L terms? So, we can add it together. So, 20, here 15 plus 20, 40, 40 plus 20, 60. So, you get 60 L is there. Now, how you can solve for L? We can first subtract 300 from 2100. What you get? You are getting 1800. And if 60 L is that much, so how you find out L? Divide both sides by 60. So, you get 30 as the length of this prism. Now, here so far we discussed about the surface area of cylinder and surface area of prism. Now, we'll look at how to find out the volume of a cylinder. So, here to find out volume of the cylinder, you need to think about the base. So, here, what's the base here? Base is a circle and when you stack circles together, you get the cylinder. So, here what we do, we find out area of the cylinder and multiply it by the height to get the volume of the cylinder. So, here this is the cross section. So, here cross section is a circle. So, what's the area of cross section? Basically, area of the circle. So, what is area of the circle? Pi r square. So, here when you are stacking all circles together, you get the full cylinder. So, how can we find out the volume? So, volume, if we say V as the volume of this cylinder, so we take the cross section area, that is pi r squared, and multiplied by the height. So we get another formula here to find out the volume of a cylinder. So that's pi r squared h. So you need to memorize this formula if you want to find out the volume of a cylinder. Now we'll try to apply volume formula in several examples. So in your textbook, the first example, find the volume of a right circular cylinder of radius 14. So here better to sketch the diagram. The radius is given 14 centimeters and the height is given 20 centimeters. So here you are asked to find the volume. So what's the volume formula? Volume is equal to pi r squared h. So what is pi? 22/7. What's the r value? R value is 14 times 14 and h is 20. Then simplify. So 14 and 7, you get 2 here and we'll multiply together. So what's the answer? So we'll do 2 times 14, 28. 28 times 22. 160, so you get 56 here. 616. So that's 22 times 28. And you have to multiply this by 2 again. 1232. And there's 1 0. So what's the answer? 12,320. What's the unit for volume now? This is length into, so 3 measurements you have to consider. So the power 3. So cubic function you are getting centimeter cube. Now we'll look at example number 2. It says a volume of a cylindrical vessel of base area is this and volume is 6,930. So here when you take the vessel, cylindrical vessel and base area, this area is 346.5 and the volume is given 6,930 cubic centimeters. So here in the first part you are asked to find out the radius. So which one we need to take? So when you take the volume, h also included. So it's easy to take this formula to find out the radius. So here we'll first find out what's the radius. We know the base area is 346.5. So that's equal to pi r squared because that's a circle. We know pi is 22/7. R squared is there, 346.5. So you can find out r squared by multiplying this answer by 7 and divide by 22. Now how can we simplify this? Here we'll get rid of this decimal place now. So what we have to do to get rid of this decimal? You multiply by 10. So here I'll multiply this by 10 and divide by 10 again. Now try to simplify now. So here when you divide by 11, what you get? 11 times 2, 11 times 3, 33, 1 remaining. For 1 it's 11, for 55 you get 5. So here again you can divide by 5. 5 times 2, 5 times 6, 30, 1 remaining, so 5 times 3, 15. So you get 63 times 7 over 4. So here when you simplify, what is 63 times 7? 7 times 3, 21, 2 remaining, 7 times 6, 42, plus 2, you get 44. And here, what you get here? 2 times 2, you get 4. Now we need to find out the square root of this. So, what's square root of this? You take square root of 441 over 4. So, that means you can take separately square root of 441 and square root of 4. What's the square root of 441? We know that 21 times 21 is 441. So, here you get 21 is the square root of 441. And what is square root of 4? You get 2. So, what's the radius of this cylinder? 21 over 2, or you can write as decimal, that's 10.5 centimeters. So, we found out the radius of this cylinder. Now, what's the second part? Find the height of the cylinder. Now, here, if we are taking the volume, we can find out the height because we know the radius of the cylinder from the first part. I'll do 2 ways to find out height. So, the first method I am taking the volume formula. So, what is the volume formula? 6930. So, here 6930 is equal to what? What's the volume formula for a cylinder? Pi r squared h. So, pi r squared, I'll first write down and then h. But we know r is 21 over 2. So, we'll plug that value here. 6930 is equal to pi is 22 over 7. What's the r value? We'll use the fraction. 21 over 2, again 21 over 2 into h. Now we need to find out h. Check whether you can simplify. Yes, here 7 with 1, 7 with 3. So here 22 divided by 2, 1, and this is 11. So now make h as the subject. What is h? 6930 multiplied by 2 and divide by, you get 11 here and 3 and 21. Now we'll try to divide here. No, you can't divide by this. So we'll better multiply this together. So what's this one? 11 times 3, 33. 33 times 21. So what is 33 times 21? 30 and 3. You get 630 with 63. You get 693. So now we see 693 with this one get cancelled out and you get 10 here. So 10 times 2, you get 20 centimeter for height. Now we use the volume to find out the height. There's another easy way to find out the height. So the second method I'll teach you here. How can we find out height? We know the base area is 346.5 and the volume is 6930. So here base area times height is the volume. So you can use that formula. So volume is base area times the height. But we know the base area is 346.5 into h is equal to 6930. So basically when you divide 6930 by 346.5, you are getting h. So we'll simplify that way. So 6930. So this number divided by 346.5. So that means you have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 10. So I'll put a 0 there. So here when you multiplied by 2. 3465 multiplied by 2 is 6930. So here you can straight away cross out this one and write down 20 centimeter for H. Now we'll move to exercise 29.3 in your textbook. So here you have given cylinders and you are asked to find out the volume. So the cross section area means the area of the circle is given 400 square centimeters. So how we find out the volume? So straight away you can apply the formula cross section area into height. So here cross section is given 400 and the height is given 10. So what's the volume? 4000 square, not square, cubic centimeters, because this is about the volume. What about the second one? Radius and height is given. So that means you have to use the formula pi r squared h formula. So here pi is 22 over 7, r is 7, 7 times 7 and h is 15. So when you simplify this, 7 get cancelled out. So you can multiply 22 times 7 times 15. So what is 15 times 7? 105. So 105 multiplied by 22. So 22, 20 and 2, you get 210 there. 2310. So 2310 cubic centimeters. Now look at the third one. The diameter is given, not the radius. So you have to first find the radius. That means you divide by 2. And you can apply the same formula. Pi r squared h. So pi is 22 over 7. Now what is r? 21 over 2. And h is 20. So simplify this. 7 times 3, you get 2 with 11 and with this 2 with 10. So basically you get 11 times 3 is 33. 33 times 21 and multiply by 10. So here you get 33 and 21. So here 30 and 3, you multiply it together, 693. 693 there. So 693 multiplied by 10, 6930 cubic centimeters. Now we'll look at question number 2. Complete the following table by finding the cross-sectional area and volume of 3 cylinders, each of radius 7 and height is 8, 16 and 24 respectively. So here separate values are given and you are asked to find out the cross-sectional area. So how you do the first part? Cross-sectional area is pi r squared. So pi r squared, use the formula 22 over 7, r is 7, 7 times 7. So when you do that, 7 get cancelled out, you get 22 times 7, 154. So here we can fill this one as 154 square centimeters. Here same thing you are getting for all of these 3 answers, because you get the same radius. Then what about the height is different, so the volume changes because of the height. So here when you do the first part, so what's the volume? The cross section area into height. So basically you take 154 multiplied by 8, you get the volume. So 8 times 4, 32, 3 is there, 8 times 5, 40, 40 plus 3, 43, 4 is there, 8 times 1, 8, 8 plus 4, 12, 1232. So the first volume is 1232 cubic centimeters. Now for the second one, the height is different now. So 154 multiplied by 16 now. So we can multiply by 10 and 6. So 1 times 4, 4 and 1 times 5, 5, 1 times 1, 1. 6 times 4, 24, 2 remaining, 6 times 5, 30, 30 plus 2, 32, 3 remaining, 6 times 1, 6, 6 plus 3, 9. So you get 2464 cubic centimeters. Now what about the third one? Third part, you have to multiply by 24. So 154 multiplied by 24. So we'll multiply by 20 and 4. 0 multiplied by 2. Multiply by 4, 4 times 4, 16, 1 remaining, 4 times 5, 20 and 1, 21, 4 times 1, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 6, 9, 6, 3. So that means the answer is 3696 cubic centimeters for the volume. Now look at the second part. By considering the data in the above completed table, explain how the volume of a cylinder changes when the radius is a constant and the height is doubled and tripled. So what happens? Now think about any here. You can look at this one and explain. So you want to explain about the volume. Now when this is double, multiply by 2 you get 16. When you multiply by 3 you get 24. So what happens to the volume? Now we'll see here and here. What's the ratio? There. So the new volume is 2464 and the other one is 1232. So here it's double. When you divide by 2, when you divide by 1232, you get 2 times of that. So here when it doubles, 1 to 2 ratio, the volume also doubling. What about the other one? When you take this and this, 3696 and 1232. So here multiply by 3, you get this answer. So that means 3 times bigger. So here that means if it's doubling, the volume also you are doubling. If it's 3 times bigger the height, volume also 3 times bigger. But here radius is constant. The third question. Again there's a table and you have given different radius values but the height is the same and you are asked to find out the cross-sectional area and the volume. So here we'll try to find out the cross-sectional area. So cross-sectional area is pi r squared. So first one is 7. So what's the value? 22 over 7 for pi. R is 7 and 7. So here what's the first one? 7 times 2, 14, 15. So 154 is the cross-sectional area for the first one. But now this is double as this one. So 14. Now we'll see what's the cross-sectional area for that one. 22 over 7, 14 times 14. you get 44 times 14. So 14 times 44, you get 40 and 4, you get 616. So 616 for this one, square centimeters. What about the third one? This is 3 times bigger. So we'll find out that area also. 22 over 7 into 21 into 21. So 7 times 3, that means 66 into 21. So 66 into, so we'll do other way around. It's easier than this way. 66 and 21. 60 and 6. 6 times 1, 6. 6 times 12. So 126. You get 1386. Now, height is the same. And how you find out the volume? Just multiply by 20. So, multiply by 2 this one and put a 0. So, you get 0 here. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 5, 10. 1 remaining. 2 times 1, 2. 2 plus 1, 3. So, 3080. What about the next one? Multiply by 2. Put a 0 first. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 remaining. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1, 3. 2 times 6 is 12. What about the third one? Multiply by 2 and put a 0. 0. 2 times 6, 12. 1 is remaining. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 1, 17. 1 remaining. 2 times 3, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. And 2 times 1 is 2. So, those are the volumes and cross-sectional area. Now, in the second part they ask, after calculating this one, explain how the volume of a cylinder changes when the height is a constant and the radius is doubled and tripled. So, we know here radius double here and radius triple here. So, we look at the volume. So, here when you take the ratio between A and B, so what you get? 12,320 divided by 3080. So, here when you take 0, cancel out, and what happens? This is 4 times. 4 times 8, 32, 4. So, 4 times bigger than this. So, what happens to the ratio for the volume? It is now 4 times bigger. When the radius is 2 times bigger, the volume is 4 times bigger than that. Now, we will take what happens A and C. A and C, the volume is 27720. Divide by 3080. Here, when you divide this by this is 9 times 380 is this. So, you get 9. So, what's the ratio between volume? It becomes 9 times bigger. So, here what can we observe here? When the height is the same, when you increase the radius by 2 times, the volume changes by 4 times. When you increase the radius by 3 times, the volume changes by 9 times. Now, we'll look at fourth question. It says the diameter of a cylindrical shaped vessel is 28. So, we'll try to sketch the diagram. So, there's a cylindrical shape and the diameter is given 28. If the vessel contains a volume of 6,160 cubic centimeters of water, find the height of the water level. So, this is, if we say the water level up to here. So the water level up to here. So this volume of this thing is given 6160. So you are asked to find out the height of the water level. So here we can straight away use the volume formula. So what's the volume? Cross-sectional area into height. So how you find out the cross-section area? Pi r squared. So here first we'll find out the cross-sectional area. Pi r squared. Pi is 22 over 7. What is r value? 28 is the diameter, so the r is 14 multiplied by 14 times 14. So here try to simplify. 7 times 1, 7 times 2. You get 44 times 14. So 44 times 14, what's the answer? 40 and 4, 56 there. So you add it together, 616. So here you get 616 as the cross-sectional area. Now we know the height is, we know the volume is 6160. So you can use the volume formula, that's cross-sectional area into height. So we know the cross-sectional area is 616 and the volume is 6160. So when you divide by this, you get the height. 6160 divided by 616, you get 10. So the height is 10 centimeters. Now we'll look at the fifth question. In the fifth question, it says a rectangular metal sheet is of length 22 and breadth 11. So we'll just sketch it. So 22 and 11 metal sheet is given. Draw the two cylinders that can be constructed with this sheet such that each side forms the curved edge. Mark the measurements on the figure and find the volume of each cylinder. So you are asked to construct two cylinders that can be constructed. So here you need two cylinders. Now if you roll this way, you get one cylinder. So what's the shape you are getting there? When you roll this way, the height is 22 and 11 is the circumference. When you roll the other way around, this side, what is the cylinder you are getting? Then the height is 11 and the circumference is 22. So we'll see what are the volumes of these cylinders. So what's the volume? So here we know 2 pi r is this one. So this is 2 pi r because the circumference. So here from this you can easily find out the height. Height is 22 and this one. So you can easily find out the radius. So what's the radius of this one? When you divide by this, what's the radius? You get 22 multiplied by 7 and 2 times 22. So 22 get cancelled out. One radius is 7 over 2. What's the other radius? In this one, 11 is equal to 2 into pi into r. So here, what is r here? 11 multiplied by 7 and divide by 2 and 22. You get 7 over 4. So you know the two radii values, and here you are asked to find out the volume. So volume of this one. So what's the volume? Pi r squared h. So here we know pi is 22 over 7. Radius we found 7 over 4. 7 over 4. Height is 22. Now try to simplify this. 1, 7 get cancelled out. And you can divide by 2. 11. Divide by 2. This is 11. So here what you get? 11 times 11 is 121. 121 times 7. You get 847. Divide by 4. So 847 divided by 4. So we'll do long division and see. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 1, 4. And 3 remaining. For 30, 4 times 7, 28. And for 20, that's 5. So you can write the volume of this cylinder is 211.75 cubic centimeters. Now we'll try to find out the volume of this one. So volume of this one is pi r squared, pi r squared. R squared is 7 over 2 times 7 over 2. H is 11. Now try to simplify. 1, 7 get cancelled out. You get, divide by 2, you get 11. 11 times 11 is 121. 121 times 7. We did before. 847. 847 divide by 2 now. So divide this by 2. 2 times 4. 2 times 2. 2 times 3, 6. For 10, this is 5. So the answer is 423.5 cubic centimeters. Now we'll look at the next question. Question number 6. Find the volume of right circular cylinder of a diameter 20 and curved surface area 1000. So here it's a cylinder and you're asked to find out the volume, and the diameter is 20 and curved surface area is 1000. So curved surface area is this one. So that's given 1000 square centimeters. So here, what is curved surface area? So that's 2 pi RH. So straight away you can write 1000 is equal to 2 pi. Pi is 22 over 7. R is, what's the R value? Diameter is 20. That means R is 10 and H. So from this you can find out what's the height. So what's the height here? You can cross multiply and find out H. So H is equal to 1000 multiplied by 7 and divide by 2, 22 and 10. So 1, 0 get cancelled out. Then you get 100 times 7 is 700. Divide by 44. So do long division. 700 I can divide by 2 again, 22 and 350. Again I can divide by 2, 11 and 175. Now I can do 175 divide by 11. So 11 times 1 is 11, 6 remaining. For 65 that's 5. 55 and you get 10 here. So for 100, how many 11s? You get 9, 99. So roughly, so this is 0, 15.90 for height. But we want the volume. So volume is pi r squared H. We know pi value is 22 over 7. What's the radius value? Radius value is 10. 10 times 10 times. So here for H, we'll put the fraction answer because sometimes it's difficult to simplify the decimal answer. So we'll take, instead of 15.9, we'll take 175 over 11. Now can you see? You can simplify easily. So here 11 times this one is 2. So here when you do that, you get 175 times 2 is what? 350. So you get 350 times 10 divide by 7. Now we can see, you can simplify further. This is 550. So what's the volume of this cylinder? 1, 2, 3, 5,000 cubic centimeters. Now we'll look at the 7th question. Calculate how many solid metal cylinders of height 21 and radius 3.5 can be made without wastage by heating the solid semi-cylindrical metal objects with the measurements given in the figure. So in this question, you need to find out how many cylinders you can make with this solid metal cylinder. So here, what's the small cylinder height? It says height of 21 and the radius is 3.5. So here, when you look at the question, here it says, first thing, you are heating this metal. So first you need to find out the volume of this part and volume of the new cylinder and see how many cylinders you can make from heating this metal. So for that, first thing, we'll find out the volume of the given figure. That means half of a cylinder. So what's the volume? You need pi r squared h, but this is half of that, so you have to divide by 2. So according to this one, so what is pi? 22 over 7. So what is r here? In this diagram, 21 is the diameter, so you divide by 2. Again 21 divided by 2. And what is h there? H is 30 centimeters. And then you need, here there's another 2. So we'll simplify first. No need to multiply, but simplify and keep. 7 times 3. What else? This 2 with 11. And that's all. Again 2 with, we can multiply and write 15. So what's the answer here? You are getting 11 times 3 times 21 times 15 divided by 2. Now we'll find out what's the volume of the small cylinder. So what is the volume of small cylinder? Again pi r squared h. Pi is 22 over 7. R is 3.5. So don't use 3.5. We'll use 7 over 2. H is 21. Now try to simplify this one. 1 7 get cancelled out and 2 with 11. And that's all. So we can write 11 times 7 times 21 divided by 2. Now how to find out how many cylinders you can make? So you need to divide this and this together. So this is the total volume you are getting, and when you divide by the volume of small one, you get how many cylinders you can make. So you can write down number of cylinders you can make is, take the bigger volume divide by the smaller one. You know what happens when you are dividing? So flipping the second fraction. So you keep the first fraction as it is and you flip this one. So you take the reciprocal of this one. So here 2 goes up and 11 and 7, 21 goes down. Now try to simplify. So here 21 get cancelled out with 21, and then 11 get cancelled out with this 11. What else we can cancel out? This 2 with this 2, and that's all. So here you get 3 times 15 divided by 7. So what is 3 times 15? You get 45. So 45 divided by 7. So this is like 6 point something. 7 times 6 is 42. 30. For 30, 7 times 4. 6 times 4 you are getting. But how many full cylinders you can make? This is not 7. So you can make full cylinders without taking this part of the cylinder. So this is roughly 6 cylinders you can make. Now look at question number 8. A cylindrical vessel of radius 14 has been filled with water to a height of 30. What is the minimum number of times that a cylindrical vessel of radius 7 and height 10 should be used to remove all the water in the given vessel? So there are 2 cylinders given. So what is the first one? It says there's a cylinder with radius 14 and height 30. And what about the other one? What is the minimum number of times the cylindrical vessel of radius 7? There's another one with 7 radius and height 10. So you need to find out how many times you can remove water from this one. So that means basically find the volume of this, find the volume of this and divide. So we'll see. Find the volume of the bigger one, pi r squared h. Pi is 22 over 7, r is 14 into 14 into h is 30. So here when you do the calculations, you see 7 times 2, and we'll keep the answer without simplifying. 22 times 2 times 14 times 30 cubic centimeters. So what's the volume of the smaller one? So that's pi 22 over 7 r squared, that means 7 times 10. So 7 get cancelled out, you get 22 times 7 times 10. Now how many times you need to fill? So you can write down number of times you need to do that. Bigger volume is 22 times 2 times 14 times 30. Divide by the smaller one, 22 times 7 times 10. Now you can see when you are not simplifying, it's easy to cancel out the common terms. So here 22, you can cross it out, and then this 7 and this 14 you get 2, and this 2 with this one 5, and 30 and 5 you get 6. So how many times? 2 times 6, 12 times you need to remove the water in the tank. Now so far we did volume of cylinders. Now we need to think about how to find out the volume of prisms. So volume of prism here again basically similar to volume of cylinder, because all are prisms. So here if you take the cross section in this one as the triangle, when you stack all triangles together, you get the prism. So that means you can easily find out the volume of the prism as cross-sectional area into the height of the prism. So in this case you will get triangle, so you can find the cross-sectional area by using the formula half times base times height. So you can write A as the cross-section into H. So this formula we can use if you are getting to find out the volume of prisms. Now we'll see the first example in your textbook related to prisms. It says find the area of the cross section of the prism. So you have to first identify what's the cross section means. So here you get the same shape both ends. So here can you see this is the cross section for this prism. You get same shape both ends. So what's the area of the cross section? This is a triangle. Area of the triangle. So here this is a right angle triangle and you can use half times base into height. Base is 8, height is 6. So area of the cross section is this one. So you simplify, divide by 2, 4 times 6 is 24 square centimeters. So what's the second part? Find the volume of the prism. So we know how you find out the volume. Cross-sectional area times the height. So in this case, what's the height of this prism? 15 centimeters. So what's the volume? Take the cross-section area multiplied by height. You get the volume. So 24 times 15. Multiply and see. 10 and 5. Multiply by 1. Multiply by 2. Multiply by 5. You get 260. So what's the volume of this prism? 260 cubic centimeters. Now we'll look at the second example. Again, a triangular base prism is there. You are asked to find out the length denoted by x in the cross section. So here you know this is a right angle triangle and two lengths are given. So basically you have to use the Pythagoras theorem. So use Pythagoras theorem. The hypotenuse squared is equal to sum of squares of the other two sides. So what is x squared? 15 squared minus 9 squared. So what is 15 squared? 225 and 9 squared is 81. So when you subtract you get 4 here, 144. So what's the square root of 144? You get 12 centimeters. So what's the first answer? We found the x value. So what's the second one? It says find the area of the cross section. Now what is the cross section? You need to identify cross section first. So the cross section in a prism is this one. So you get the same ends. So here what's the area of this triangle? Half times base. Base is 9 and the height is x now. We found x as 12. So half times 9 times 12. So first 9 times 12 and then divide by 2. So what's the answer? 9 times 2, 18, 1 remaining, 9 times 1, 9, 9 plus 1, 10. So divide by 2, you get 54. So 54 square centimeters for the area of the cross section. And then they ask what's the volume? Volume of this figure is the cross-sectional area times the height. We know the cross-sectional area is 54 and the height is 20. Just multiply by 20. So here 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10. So what's the unit here? Cubic centimeters. Now we'll move to exercise 29.4 in the textbook, and the first one, using the data that is marked on the prism, illustrate below, find the volume of each prisms. You have given 2 prisms. So here, what's the cross-sectional area? This one. So you are asked to find volume. Straight away you can apply cross-sectional area into height. So volume is equal to cross-sectional area. So here this is a triangle. Half times base is 8, height is 6. That's the cross-sectional area, and 15 is the height of this prism. So just multiply by 15. So simplify, 2 times 4. So 4 times 6, 24 times 15. So 24 times 15 is what? You multiply by 1, multiply by 5. And then add it together. You get 360 cubic centimeters. And what about this one? So here in this triangle also, base is given, height is given. So straight away you can apply the formula. So volume is half times base is 12. What's the height? Height is 8. And now what's the height of the prism? That's 80. So this is cross-sectional area times the height. So simplify, 2 times 6. So 6 times 8 is 48 into 18. So 48 into 18. So 40, we'll do other way around. It's easy to multiply. 48 times 18. So 10 and 8, multiply by 1, multiply by 8, 8 times 8, 64, 6 remaining, 8 times 4, 32, plus 6, 38. So you get 864 cubic centimeters for the volume of this prism. Now we'll look at the third part. Here, in this cross section, base is not given. Base is given, but the height is not given. So you can't find the area of a triangle without finding the height. So first thing you have to do, use the half of this triangle and find out the height of the triangle. So if you divide by 2 triangles, you get this one 5 because equally divided, 5 and 5, and you are asked to find out this height. So how we use Pythagoras theorem? So Pythagoras theorem, x squared plus 5 squared is equal to 13 squared. So what is x squared? 13 squared minus 5 squared. So 13 times 13 is 169. 5 times 5 is 25. So when you subtract these two, what you get? 441, 144. So what is x? Square root of 144 is 12 centimeters. Now we know the height of the triangle is 12. Now we can find out the volume. So volume is the cross-sectional area, half times base times height. Height is 12 multiplied by the height of the whole prism or length of the prism. That's 20. So you can multiply by 20. So here, how can we simplify 2 with this 6? 6 times 20, 120, and there's 0,200 cubic centimeters. Now when you look at this one, again, this is the cross section. We don't know the height of the triangle. So first thing, we need to use Pythagoras theorem and find out the height. So if this is x, we know x squared plus 7 squared is 25 squared, and x squared is 25 squared minus 7 squared. What is 25 times 25? 625. What is 7 times 7? 49. So subtract this, you get 6, 15, 1 remaining, 5, 7, 1 remaining, 576. So what's the square root of 576? We know 20 times 20 is 400. So that means more than 20. And the last digit is 6. That means you need to get something 4. 4 times 4, 16. So we'll try out 24. 24 times 24, you get 576. So the square root of this one is 24. Now we found out the x value. That's the height of the triangle. Now you can find out the volume of the prism. What's the volume? Cross-sectional area, half times base times height of the triangle times the length or height. Now can you see these all marked as 25. So this length is also 25. So you can multiply this by 25. So here you can simplify with this. You get 12. So 12 times 7 and then multiply by 24. Or there's an easy way. Can you see? I can write 12 as 3 times 4. 4 times 25 is 100. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 times 100 is 2100 cubic centimeters. Now we'll take question number 2. If the volume of the prism is 400, find its length. So that means they are asking about this length. So volume is already given. And this is a right angular triangle. So you can easily find out the cross-sectional area. So we'll use the formula cross-sectional area into length. So what's the cross-sectional area for this diagram? Half times base is 5, height is 8 into L is equal to 400. Now we'll find out L. So how you find out L? Here you multiply this by 2 and divide by 5 and 8. So here 5 times 8 and 8 times 10. So 10 times 2, you get 20 centimeter for the length of this prism. Now we'll look at this one. Find the value of x if the height of the prism of volume 288 given in the figure is 12. So that means the height is given, this height is given as 12 centimeters and the volume is given 288. You are asked to find out the value of x. So we'll try to find out. This is also the cross-sectional area is a right angle triangle. So you can use half times base times height. So we'll use the formula V equals cross-sectional area into length. Cross-sectional area is half times base is 8, height is x and the length of this prism is 12. And this is equal to 288. So when you do that, 2 times 4, so make x as a subject, you get 288, divide by 4 and 12. So here we'll divide by 4, 4 times 7, 4 times 2, 12 times 6 is 72. So the x value for this one is 6 centimeters. Now third question. Again, a prism is there. So 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. Find the volume of the prism that can be constructed using this net. So if you are joining all these parts, what can you see? You get the cross section as this one. So the height is 4 and this is the base. And when you do this diagram, you get something like this. So this is the prism you are getting. So here cross section comes from this one. And what's the length? According to this one, when you do 3 goes with this one, here 3, 5, and here 5 is this side. So when you look at this one, we see this 3 is the length of this prism. And here this 5 actually, what's that? When you use Pythagoras theorem of this one, this side becomes 4 squared plus 3 squared and take the square root, you get 5 here. So here these are the lengths in this diagram. So you are asked to find out the volume. So how you find the volume of this one? Volume is cross-sectional area into length. So what is cross-sectional area? Half times base times height of the triangle into length of the prism. So length is given 3. So when you do the simplification, you get 2 here, 3 times 2, 6, 6 times 3, 18 cubic centimeters. Now we'll look at the fourth question. Water has been filled to a height of 8 centimeter of a cuboid shaped vessel of length 30 and breadth 20. So this is about a cuboid shape. So here we'll draw the cuboid shape. And it's given length is 30, breadth is 20, and we'll take breadth as this side, and we don't know the height. It says if the level of water in the vessel rises by 2 centimeter when a right triangular prism of cross-sectional area 60 square centimeters is dropped carefully into the water. Find the perpendicular height of the prism. So it says if this is increased by 2, the water level increased by 2 centimeter when the right triangular prism of cross-sectional area 60. So there's another right triangular prism cross-sectional 60. So this is a prism and the cross-sectional area is 60 square centimeters is dropped carefully into water. Find the perpendicular height of the prism. So when you put inside this one, the water level rises. So they are asking what's the height of the perpendicular height of the prism. So here when you look at this diagram, the cross section is 60 and we don't know the height or length. So we'll put H for this one because we want to find out that. So here we can find out what's the volume of this prism. So cross-sectional area into H. So volume of the prism is 60 into this height. Then what about this one? What's the volume of water? It rises 2 centimeter. So when you put this prism inside to the water. So here what's the volume of this one? Cross-sectional area is this part. So you get a rectangle. So cross-sectional area for this one is 30 times 20. You get 600 and the height is 2. So it rises 2 centimeters. So the volume here is 600 times 2. So you get 1200 cubic centimeters. So here we can easily find out what's H by dividing these two. So when you look at these two, we can see that. So this is the volume here, and here this is the volume of the prism. When you are equating this, we can see what's the perpendicular height of the prism. So here we'll equate this one. 1200 is equal to 60 into H. So what is H? Their perpendicular height is 1200 divided by 60. You get 20 centimeters for the height of this prism. Question number 5. It says a water tank the shape of a prism with a triangular cross section of area 800 is filled with water to a height of 30 centimeters. So it's like this. So there's a triangle, and here this is the prism. It says 800 as the cross section. So this cross section is 800 square centimeters, and then filled with water to height 30. So here we'll take another color. So this is 30 centimeter. That's the water height. If this water is poured into a cuboid shaped vessel of length 60, so another cuboid one, height is 20, length is 60, and then we'll take this one as 20. So you are asking, they are asking what is the height? Without wastage, to what height will the water level rise? So here, if this happens, now we take the volume of water here and pour this to here. So here volumes should be equal. So what we can do, find the volume of this prism. Cross-sectional area is 800. So what's the volume? Volume is equal to cross-section area into height. So you get 24,000 cubic centimeters. What about this one? Here, what's the volume of this one? You get 60 times 20 times H. So how you find H? We are equating the two volumes. So here 60 times 20 H is equal to 24,000. So what is H? 24,000 divided by 60 and 20. So 1 0 get cancelled out, 1 0 get cancelled out. So that means divide by 60, you get 40. 40 divided by 2, you get 20 centimeters. Now we'll look at the miscellaneous exercise. So the question number 1 is about a cylinder, and it says there's a cylinder, radius is 14 and the height is 25, and find the total surface area. So how you find out the total surface area of a cylinder? Can you remember the formula we used? Total surface area is 2 pi r plus h. You can straight away plug the values. 2 times 22 over 7, r is 14, r plus h. So here you can simplify 7 with 14, you get 2 here. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 22, you get 88. And times, when you add these two, what you get? 5 plus 4, 9, 39. So 39 multiplied by 88. So 39 multiplied by 88. 80 and 8, 72, 7 remaining, 8 times 3, 24, 24 plus this one, 31. So you get 312 here, just add it, you get 3432 square centimeters, because this is about area. How we find out the volume now? Volume is pi r squared h. So pi is 22/7. R squared, r into r. Now we found, we have h, so you substitute h value there. Then try to simplify. 7 times 2, 14, and now you need to multiply by these two. Now there's an easy method. Now 22 I can write 2 times 11 times 2 times 14 times 25. Here 2 and 2, 4. 4 times 25, that's 100. So I just need to multiply 14 times 11 and put 2 zeros. So 14 times 11. 11 times 4, 44. 4 remaining. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 plus 4 is 15. So what's the answer? 154, and you need to put 2 zeros. So the answer is 15,400 cubic centimeters. We'll look at the second question. So you have given a prism. This is the net of a prism, and you want to fold it and make a prism. Now the first part they ask, which edge does the edge GH coincide? So here, where's GH? This length. So what do you think? When you are folding, what happens? This goes up and this comes over here. So here DE and GH coincide together. So here first one is DE. Then second part, what they ask, with which vertex does the vertex H coincide? So here when you are doing this and this coincide, so H with D coincide. Then the third part they ask, find the area of a triangular face of the prism that is made. So area of the triangular face. So here this is the triangle you are getting. So how you find out the area? So you need the height of the triangle. We know 12 is the base and 10 is this side. So here to find out the area you need the height. So use the formula, Pythagoras theorem. What's height? So here we can divide into two parts and write this is 6 and 6. So according to Pythagoras theorem, h squared is equal to 10 squared minus 6 squared. So 10 squared is 100, 6 squared is 36. You get 64. Square root of 64, you get 8 centimeters. So now we have the height of the triangle. You can find out the area. So what's the area? You get half times base is 12 and the height is 8. So 2 times 6, 6 times 8 is 48 square centimeters. Now we'll take the fourth part. Find the total surface area and the volume of the prism. So here total surface area, you get 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. So we'll try to find out the surface area. We'll put A for the total surface area of the prism. So we found area of one triangle. So multiply this by 2 plus area of this rectangle, 10 times 20. What's the area of this triangle? 12 and This length is 20. What's the other one? Other rectangle is this, 20 times 10. So you can simplify this. 48 times 2, 96. And can you see 20 is common? Take it out and you can add these three. 10 plus 12 plus 10. So you get 96 plus 20 times 10 plus 10, 20, 20 plus 12, 32. So here when you multiply you get 96. What's 32 times 2? 64 and put a 0. 64 and put a 0 and you can add it together. 9 plus 4, 13. So you get 736 square centimeters for the surface area of the prism. Now what's the volume of the prism? Volume is the area of the cross section into height. So I can find out the volume of the prism is cross section area we already found as 48. And what's the length of this prism? So the length of the prism is this 20. So you multiply by 20 to get the volume. So multiply by 2, you get 96. So 960 cubic centimeters for the volume of this prism. We'll take the third question. So it's about a fish tank in the shape of a prism with a triangular cross section having the dimensions given in the figure has been made with cement in Diane's garden. Find the interior surface area of this tank. So you are asked to find out the surface area. So here what can we do? So this is a prism. First we'll find out the surface area of this triangle. The area of the triangle, that means this is 1, 1 and 1.6. So 1.6 means each side, this side 0.8 and 0.8. So you have to use Pythagoras theorem to find out the height. So here what we can do, use Pythagoras theorem, 1 squared minus 0.8 squared and take the square root to get the height. So what's the height? 1 squared is 1. 0.8 squared means 8 times 8, 64, and you have to keep 2 decimal places, 0.64. So when you subtract these two, you get 6 here, 0.36. Square root of 0.36 is h. So what's the answer? Square root of 0.36. So square root of 36 is 6. So when you have 2 decimal places, you see square root of 0.36 is 0.6. This is in meters, so 0.6 meters. Now you are asked to find out the surface area of this tank. So when you take the tank, you need to remember there's no upper part. So only the outer part of the other sides. So here that means to find out the surface area of this tank, you get 2 triangles. That means 2 times half, base is 1.6 times height. Height we found, that's 0.6 plus. So what's this side? 2 and 1. So 2 times 1. And also you get the same side on the other side. So 1 times 2. So when you simplify, what you get? 2 get cancelled out. So 16 times 6. So multiply and put 2 decimal places. 6 times 6, 36. 3 remaining. 6 times 1, 6. 6 plus 3, 9. So 0.96. And 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So when you add together, what's the answer? 4.96. So the surface area for this one is 4.96 square meters. Now we'll look at the second part. Find in liters the amount of water that is required to fill the tank complete. Here basically they are asking to find out the volume of this prism. So here how can we find out the volume of the prism? So here we know volume is cross-sectional area times the length of the prism. But we found, using the previous part, we found the height of the triangle is 0.6 meters and the base is 1.6. So what's the area of the triangle? Half times 1.6 times 0.6. And then what's the length here? Length is 2. So you can multiply this by 2. So 2 get cancelled out and 16 times 6. So you get 2 decimal places 0.96. So here we found out this is in cubic meters, but we need to find out this is in liters. So what's the conversion between cubic centimeters and liters? You know already. 1000 cubic centimeters is 1 liter. So that means cubic meters we can convert to cubic centimeters. So this is how we do. We write this one. This is like cubic meters means 1 meter, 1 meter and another 1 meter. So 3 times you have to multiply. So we do 3 times. 1 meter how many centimeters? 100. 1 meter how many centimeters? 100. 1 meter how many centimeters? 100. So what's the answer here? So here you get this and this get cancelled out. You get 96 and 4 zeros. So this is in cubic centimeters. How we find out how many liters? So you divide by 1000. So therefore number of liters equal to 9640 divide by 1000. You get 3 zeros get cancelled out and you get 960 liters of water. Now we'll take the third part. It says, if a pipe through which water flows at a rate of 20 liters per minute is used to fill the tank completely, find how much time is required to fill the tank. So here we found out we need 960 liters. So it says 20 liters. How many minutes? 1 minute. So if it's 960 liters, how many minutes you need? You take 1 divided by 20 multiplied by 960. So what's the answer? 2 get cancelled out. 2 times 4, 8. For 16, this is 8. So 48 minutes you need to fill this tank. Now we'll look at fourth question. So here it says there's a cylinder, the volume of the cylinder of radius 7 and height h. So height is not given and that's equal to 3080. Find the height of the cylinder. So here the volume is given. So what's the volume formula? So pi r squared h for a cylinder. So you have given volume as 3080. Pi is 22 over 7. What's the r value? R is 7 and you need to find out the height. Now try to simplify. 7 get cancelled out and what is h? H equals 3080 divided by 22 and 7. So we'll try to simplify this. Divide by 2, you get 11. Divide by 2, you get 1540. So when you divide by 11, you get 1, and 44 you get 4. 140 divide by 7. Now again you can divide by 7 and write 7 times 2. So height is 20 centimeters. And then they ask find the surface area of the cylinder. So how can we find out the surface area? So full surface area is, what's the formula? Can you remember? 2 pi r plus h. So 2 into pi is 22 over 7. What's the radius here? 7. And 7 plus h. H is, we found from the first part, that's 20. So now try to simplify. 7 get cancelled out. 22 times 2, you get 44. And 7 plus 20. So what's the value? So you get 27 for this one. So 27 times 44. So we'll multiply. 27 times 44 is 40 times 4. So multiply by 4. 4 times 7, 28. 2 remaining. 4 times 2, 8. 8 plus 2, 10. So here you get 108 here. Add it together. You get 1188. So the answer is 1188 square centimeters. Now we'll look at the last question in your textbook. It says a vessel the shape of a prism in the figure is completely filled with water. All the water in this vessel is poured into a vessel the shape of a right cylinder of radius 7. So filling all these water to a cylinder with radius 7. To what height does the height level rise in the cylinder? So they are asking, this is filled with water and you pour this water to this cylinder and you're asking what's the height of the water. So how can we do? So we are pouring all water here. That means you have to first find the volume of the prism. So how you find out the volume of the prism? Cross-sectional area into length of the prism. We know this is a right angle triangle. You can straight away use half times base is 9, height is 7 into the length is 22. Now when you simplify this, you get 11 here. So 9 times 7, 63. 63 times 11, 10 and 1, you get 63 here, 693. So the volume of this prism is 693 cubic centimeters. Now we can find out the cross-section area for the cylinder because the radius is 7. So what's the cross-sectional area? Cross-sectional area of the cylinder is pi r squared because that's a circle. So pi is 22 over 7, r is 7. 7 times 7. Simplify, you get 7 times 2, 14, 1 remaining. You get 154 square centimeters. Now, we know how to find out the volume of the cylinder. Pi r squared, the cross-sectional area times the height. So, that should be equal to 693. So, we can easily find out the height of water is 693 divided by 154. So, here we can easily see this is divisible by 11. 11 times 1, 11 times 4, 11 times 6, and 3. Now, can we divide this by 7? 7 times 2, 7 times 9. So, the answer is 9 divided by 2 is equal to 4.5 centimeters because the value is given in centimeters. So, here in this lesson we covered surface area and volume for prisms. What type of prisms we discussed here? A cylinder and triangular base prism. So, memorize those formula and apply in these exercises and examples.